Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Jamie Dean and I am back once again with another video game pickups video here on Sidescrollin. Let me show you what I found this week. Alright, so it was an interesting week this week actually. A fairly slim week after the big sort of the Japanese Nintendo 64 pickups and the PlayStation last week. I had to sort of rein myself in a little bit this week, but we've still managed to come across a few interesting bits and pieces, particularly at my local bookshop this week. Really had some stuff that I don't usually see there. So I'm going to go through all of that first. There's a few things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I managed to pick up at the bookshop this week. And I've got one other retro eBay pickup that I'll show you at the end of the video. So bookshop came through this week. Like I said, I've been going there for a very long time. Most of the time when I go in there, they've got their little bookshelf of games, and it doesn't really change from visit to visit all that much. You kind of go in and see the same stuff over and over again. But someone had obviously dropped off a few pieces since I'd been there last, because they did have some different stuff this time. Not all of which I was interested in, but I did pick up a few things that I thought were either useful for selling on eBay, flipping and trying to get some collection funds, or that I wanted for the shelf for myself. There are a couple of things I saw there I was like, oh yes, I think I want to have that for me. So first things first, I found another copy of Wii Sports Resort. These sell really well on eBay, as it turns out. So if you ever find yourself in a secondhand store or op shop or something like that, and you see a copy of Wii Sports Resort for sale for a couple of bucks, like I did today, make sure you grab it, and you might make yourself a few dollars there on eBay, because they've got some really good resale value. The last one I picked up resold immediately when I listed it. So I was hoping I can do the same thing again for that one. They also, for the eBay fodder pile, is this one here, Total War Attila. Now that's not a game in the Total War series that I have played. I think I'd largely sort of moved on to other things by the time Attila came around. It's one I wouldn't mind giving a try of, though, honestly. Like I think it's an interesting sort of setting and topic. And again, I've said that I like the historical settings for these Total War games more so than things like Warhammer Total War, even though I'm a huge Warhammer fan. I just really enjoy the historical settings. I think, the days of me playing a Total War game might be behind me, just because they are such massive time sinks, and I find myself much more drawn to games that you can knock over very, very quickly these days, sort of like your old retro platformers and things like that. That you can pick up and play for 10 minutes and then keep going. I don't find myself very often, not never, but not very often these days where I've got 3 hours that I can just sit and sink into a game, and that's certainly the case with these Total War games. Now this one is actually taped shut, so I'm just going to de-sticky tape it. And we'll have a look inside, and fingers crossed we've got a complete game here with manual and everything. There we go. Let's have a look. All right, we've got double discs. We do have... Oh, yeah, it's installation instructions. So we might be past the point in time where, these games actually had manuals. I'll show you the discs there. Whoa. There we are. I'm just covering the CD key. There we are. Does that say disc 1 and disc 2? Oh, yep, there's another one under here. There we are. Disc 3. I'm doing a good job of this camera work, aren't I? Disc 3 on the other side. Fuck it, they're all in there. Okay, bit hard to hold the case up and show the camera while also trying to cover the CD key. But it's just got the installation instructions, just a little booklet there, and multilingual. So no manual in this one, but that isn't terribly surprising. By this stage, manuals were becoming a thing of the past. But yeah, there we go. So we'll see if we can find a new home for that one. I think, even though I am very interested to try it, it's one that I would definitely give this a shot if I had the time. I just don't really have the time for these big Total War games anymore. So we'll try and rehouse that one. Another one I got to rehome, but that I have played in the past and quite enjoyed actually, was this Star Wars Empire at War. So this is a double pack that includes the original base game and the Forces of Corruption expansion. There's no manual in this one. Again, CD key, so I'm just going to cover that. But there is just the disc in the case. Yeah, Empire at War was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. I didn't play it for long. I think it was, again, a bit of a case of like wrong game, wrong time. But the time that I did manage to sink into it, I did quite enjoy Empire at War. Like getting to play a like sort of an RTS Star Wars game. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I don't mind Star Wars; it's okay, but I'm not like a crazy big fanatic about it. This was probably one of the few Star Wars games that I've played that I really actually enjoyed, and that's because it was in a genre that I really liked. It reminded me like it's set in space, so it's kind of like Sins of a Solar Empire and things like that. If you're familiar with those sort of things. I'm trying to think, there was another Star Wars RTS that I played. It might have been like a mod for Age of Empires 2 back in the day. Let me know if you ever tried that one. I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. I think it came out around the same time as Phantom Menace hit the cinemas. And it was really, really fucking good. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure it was just a mod, or I don't think it was its own separate game. Maybe it was. I can't remember. But I do have this memory of playing like a Age of Empires 2 style Star Wars game of some sort, Star Wars RTS game. So if you played it, let me know in the comments what it was called, if it was a mod, what the name of the mod was, or if it was its own game, what it was called, because I'd love to try and just look that one up again on not on eBay, on YouTube, just to have a little wander down memory lane. But anyway, yeah, Star Wars Empire at War, another good one, and one that'll be hopefully finding a new home. It's a Games for Windows game. I'm hoping that means it can still be played. You know, Games for Windows is a largely dead service these days, so hopefully that's one that can still find use, or if nothing else, then at least in someone's Star Wars collection, because yeah, Empire at War was a cracker of a game. All right, now things that are going to be, I think, staying with me in my shelf. This was fascinating because I did not, again, like, it's just one of those things when you see it on a secondhand store bookshelf in sort of the town that I live, you just don't. It's just not one that you really expect to see. It was like Arcanum, right? Like when I found Arcanum in that RSPCA op shop, you just don't expect to see games like that. You expect to see like, your Calls of Duty and your FIFAs and whatnot. But this was sitting there, obviously, again, dropped off by the same person, I assume, and I just couldn't leave it there. It's a game that I quite enjoy. I've only ever played it the one time. It was a very long time ago when it first came out. I don't remember it terribly well, but it's in that sort of like genre of games that I find that I really enjoy, these single-play narrative experiences, I tend to call them, like a walking simulator, I suppose, for lack of a better term. But that is the PC hard sort of physical edition of Gone Home. Yeah, a real surprise to see that on the shelf of all things. I didn't even know this got a physical PC release. I thought it was just a little indie download only. But yeah, it's got this lovely sort of slip cover on it that opens up. Rip. To show you all the magnificent awards that the game won. I don't know. I mean, it was good. I don't know that it was like the best thing in the whole wide world ever, to warrant like a whole slew of awards on the inside cover. But they're there anyway. There's the house, the titular home from the title. Inside, let's have a look. Let's open it up. All right, so inside we have this case, which I'm sure is reminiscent of something from the game that I don't recall. I've got no doubt that has some significance. Yeah, it's just such a long time ago. I can't even remember when did this come out. Does it have a year on it? 2012? 2014? No. Somewhere around there. There's a few different dates on it. Yeah. What's that? A decade ago? My memory tends to like end yesterday. Let's have a look in this thing. All right, so we've got a whole stack of stuff, and there's one thing in particular in here which is awesome. So we've got our disc right there. We've got our little manual leaflet. I mean, there's not much to the game, so there's not much of a manual here. It's got a Steam key on the back, which I'm going to assume has been used. But it also has this poster that I'll see if I can unfold for you. Don't know how well we're going to be able to see that, but there we go. Pretty cool. Kicking against the patriarchy. Nice poster there. Again, I'm sure this is a piece from in the game that I just can't quite remember. But it was cool to see it in there. Any games that come with, like, you know, posters that represent in-game stuff, I always think is a pretty cool thing to have. But this was the real winner for me. It also has this, the Gone Home Designer's Notebook. And this has, like, just pages and pages and pages of scribbled handwritten notes from the designer of the game. Steve Gaynor. I'll show you an example of what I mean. Not sure how well my camera will pick this up. Probably not very well at all. I tilted a little bit. Yeah, there we go. You can kind of see it's all like pencil, like scans of pencil notes. Little pencil drawings that he's done when making the game. Tables, character designs, just heaps and heaps of stuff. Maps of the house. You can see there. This doesn't like my lights. Yeah, really cool. Really interesting stuff. So I was flipping through this and just like, wow, you know, like having a little read. I just love this sort of shit, you know, getting a little peek behind the curtain of this sort of thing. I was one of those people that when you bought a DVD, I'd go through like all the special features and watch all the making ofs and things like that. So I just love that stuff. Yeah, I just thought this was such a cool little curio to have in what is obviously some sort of collector's edition for the game. But yeah, awesome to see and to have that. So I think, like I said, I don't remember what happened in the... I remember the general sort of premise of the story. I remember how the story ended. I remember thinking that was quite clever and really cool. But I think this is one that I'm going to probably end up keeping on the shelf, I think, just because it's such a cool little... I don't know, a cool little curio that I didn't expect to find. I'll have a think about it. We'll see if it actually graduates to the shelf or if it ends up on the eBay pile as well. I don't think it's terribly valuable. I'm not sure how many people are chasing a physical edition of Gone Home, but yeah, just like I said, I couldn't leave it there. It was sitting there. I was like, wow, I never expected to find that here of all places. So there we go. Hard copy of the PC edition of Gone Home. I think it was like $2 or $3 that I picked that up for, as was the case with most of the games. This next one was $1. I know that for sure. And again, one that I don't see ever anywhere. In fact, I don't remember really seeing this many places when it came out new, let alone in a secondhand store. But for $1, I was very, very happy to pick it up. It's a DVD, and that is Batman Year One. A fantastic animated movie that came out at a similar... I think it was after The Dark Knight Returns released. I mean, DC's animated movies are just fucking killer. You know, 9 times out of 10. It's like the polar opposite of their cinema live-action releases. Their animated movie releases are just on point pretty much every time. And this was no exception. A really, really good one. Bryan Cranston, Ben McKenzie... They absolutely killed it. Bryan Cranston as Gordon was like a fucking inspired choice. And this was a story very much about Gordon, just as much as it was about Batman, possibly even more so. And I really enjoyed this one. I really liked it. I really liked the comic. I really liked the animated adaptation. And now I've got a copy of it for my shelf to have. Because, yeah, I don't remember ever seeing this in a store when it was released. So coming across it in a second-hand shop, just sitting on the shelf there for $1. I mean, yeah, most DC animated movie releases for $1, I'll take home with me every day. So there we go, Batman Year One. So yeah, an interesting little sojourn to the bookshop today. It was I was glad I walked in there. I wasn't going to. I just happened to be waiting for something at another shop, and I said, "Oh, we'll go up here and we'll have a look while we're waiting." And yeah, walked into a whole ton of stuff, and there was more there that again that didn't speak to me, that I didn't particularly want or need, or I didn't think would be worth picking up to resell or anything like that. But I'm very happy with what I did manage to pick up today. All right, let's move on to my lone eBay pickup for the week. Now, this is a surprisingly rare game to find on the secondhand market. I did not expect, like, it was a fairly, I wouldn't say it's a fairly high-profile title for the system, but it was certainly a very well-known title for the system, you know. And I just never expected it to be so difficult to find on the secondhand market. As like, you can find cartridges, loose cartridges of this fairly easily, but to find a boxed copy of this is like fucking unicorn shit. Like, it just doesn't seem to really exist anymore. I don't, for whatever reason, one reason or another. And if you do come across it, it tends to be ludicrously expensive because it is for some reason really, really rare. And that is a Nintendo 64 game that I've managed to pick up. Now, this one is in really bad condition, like truly, by far and away, the worst condition game that I own in my collection, by far. And the reason that I bought it is because A, it was all there, complete in box, which, like I said, is you just never ever see it for this game. And B, I got this for $30. $30. In better condition, this thing goes for like well over 100. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to grab this because it's boxed Nintendo for $30. Box retro Nintendo. I'll take that every day, no matter what game it is. This game in particular, I'll definitely take it for. And I thought it'd be like a fun kind of fixer-upper a little bit. Like, I might even make a video of trying to restore this a little bit to what it formerly was. You'll see what I mean when I show it to you. Hopefully, I think the camera is going to do a lot of work here to hide a lot of the blemishes, but let's have a look what it is. It is Turok Dinosaur Hunter N64 Classic. I think it was on more systems than just the N64, but I think it's the N64, you know, it's kind of synonymous with that system. And yeah, as you can see, it is not in very good condition at all. We've got like a shitload of sticker residue and tearing over here. We've got a trade-in sticker. Look, I got it for cheaper than whoever picked this up secondhand. I did well. I'm sure it didn't look like this. Maybe it did, I don't know. Yeah, we've got some more sort of tape over here. We've got tearing on here. The sides are torn. You can see that they're really like bowed, bent. The whole case is, the whole box itself, like, we've got more tearing over here. The whole box itself, oh, that's not tearing, that's actually sticker. That's sticker residue. I thought they were tears. I might actually be able to get that off. Woohoo. Yeah, I might be able to pull that off. I'll have a go later with a hairdryer. But yeah, it's seen better days, that's for sure. But like I said, it's $30. It was $30. I was negotiating with someone on eBay who was trying to sell a copy of this for, I think, $180 or something wild like that. Way, way, way overpriced. And that's the only other complete in-box copy that I've seen on eBay other than this one. This one was being sold for more than what I paid, but I think the seller just wanted to get rid of it, honestly. I made them an offer of $30. They said, you know what? Yeah, I'm sick of trying to sell this thing. No one's going to want it in that kind of condition. And so we made the deal, and that was great. And now I have a copy of Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Now, inside, box accepted, inside is actually in very good condition, which is great. So we've got our cartridge. It's dirty. Again, my camera will probably do some work here, but that needs a good clean as well. It's got its original insert, which again is getting rarer and rarer to find in Nintendo 64 games, to have the original inserts. But most importantly, it has its manual there, all intact and in relatively, compared to the box anyway, relatively good condition. Big chunky manual. I believe it's bilingual. Yes, it is. Or multilingual, I should say. How much of this is English? Oh, that's right. So, a cool thing in the Turok manual is it has included a comic. And I thought that was fucking awesome. I'm definitely going to sit down and read this. Look at that. He's crawling around like fucking Spider-Man. Arrow in the head to the fucking dinosaur here. Yeah. So cool. So I'm going to be checking that out for sure. Yeah, did not expect that to come with the book. So that was great. But yeah, otherwise, very good condition manual. It's it's a fairly bare bones manual. It's just got like lots of text and the odd screenshot here and there. But all there, no pages missing. Not really. It's got a little bend on the back, but nothing. Again, given the condition of the box, the manual is in stellar condition, and so is the cartridge. So yeah, I think I walked out of that like a bandit to some degree, to be honest. I think I got an absolute bargain, and I think it's going to be fun trying to fix this box up and see if I can get it looking somewhat respectable. I've got a few little tricks that I can try and use on it to see if that will actually reap any rewards or not. I'm just trying to put this thing back in the box into these like bent, creased and scuffed tabs and things that are like catching on everything. There we go. But yeah, I have Turok 2 already in the collection behind me. You can probably see it just there on the shelf. Turok, I never played Turok 2. I only watched Scott play it very, very recently. I was aware of it. It was, again, another bit of a Nintendo 64 icon. But I have played Turok Dinosaur Hunter, the first one, and was really disappointed. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know why I was disappointed. I think it just didn't have. I was expecting Jurassic Park, like just to be let loose on some dinosaur-infested island. But I think it was much more sci-fi. I think that's what it was. It was much more sci-fi than what I anticipated it being, and I just wasn't really into sci-fi all that much when I was a teenager back in the day. It's only as an adult that I've sort of gravitated towards that genre. So yeah, one I'd be interested to replay and have another shot at some point for sure, just to see if I take to it a little bit better now. But fuck, look, I mean, that cover is just epic. I love it. It's one of the coolest covers. And when you saw that on the shelf back in the day, you were like, fucking hell, look at that. What is this game? And it's a very clunky, hard to control sci-fi first-person shooter / first-person platformer. Also, I like these too. These little stickers that they have. Easily the best first-person shooter on a console to date. Fantastic. So this must have come out before GoldenEye. And I guess that's something to remember, right? Is that first-person shooters didn't really exist on console back when old Turok came out. So it was a bit of a front runner for the genre, and so you got to cut it a little bit of slack for being a bit clunky, I think. But yeah, certainly when GoldenEye come out, it's probably put this one to bed a little bit. But there you go, Turok Dinosaur Hunter. So yeah, I might make another video to show you how well I get on with cleaning that one up and restoring it. And you can apply what you see in that video to pretty much anything that I have sitting on the shelf, or even give it a go yourself at home. Because, yeah, it's surprising what a little bit of love and care and patience and elbow grease can do to get these old Nintendo cardboard boxes back to looking somewhat respectable. And a box protector on it. Man, box protectors go a long, long way. It's a bit like this camera lens on my face. It does a lot of heavy lifting, the old box protector, to get it looking much, much better than what it otherwise would without it. But that's it. That is my pickups for the week. Yeah, I'm happy. Turok's one I definitely wanted to get for the collection. I knew I wanted that, and yeah, $30 for that one. I was never going to walk past that for sure. So I hope that was fun. If you've played any of these, Turok especially, make sure you drop me a comment down the bottom and let me know if you have any good memories of playing Turok, Empire at War. What else do we have there? Attila. If you have played Attila, let me know, and let me know if it's one I should check out. If I do enjoy the other Total War games, would I like Attila? I'm very curious to see what it's like. I wish I had more time to do it. But that's it from me for this week, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out. My name has been Jamie Dean, and as always, make sure you keep on side-scrolling. Take it easy.